Hey guys, just an update on my 1/10 scale FS Racing Desert Buggy. I spent the last couple of nights working on this, taking this apart. Just overall, I'm fairly impressed with the workmanship on this buggy. All the screws were tightened. I didn't find any loose screws at all. The plastics seem to be good quality. The aluminum chassis very good. All the components on this, I couldn't really find one thing to complain about. And I just a couple of things. I bought the steering rack aluminum version of this for replacement. It was a pain to get the post off there. Right, there's a couple of posts here that the steering rack goes through. And they were just a pain because you got the screws on the top and the bottom, they're both in the same direction. You can only remove one of the two, and then you kind of have to like use a pair of pliers to hold on to this so you can unscrew the other one. The problem is at the bottom, the screw that goes through the chassis, they put red Loctite in there, so it was, I almost stripped the Phillips screws down there. Unfortunately, I was able to get it off. Red Loctite was also used. Thread lock was also used on the motor mounts. So be careful of that. Make sure you really push in hard before you turn, or you easily strip the screws. And I've been replacing a lot of the screws with a stainless steel version, hex, of course, hex screws. I can't really tell. These might be stainless steel. I don't know how to tell. I might look up how to, on the internet and see what's a way to. There's a way to figure out whether or not the screws are stainless steel or not. But these screws aren't that bad. They look to be decent quality screws. You can't say that for every RC. There's some RCs where you find some really crappy quality screws. So just to show you a feel of a few of the screws. So I got two here, the one up here, all replaced with hex. What else? The bottom, if you look at the bottom, right? Everything that holds the battery tray, middle, there's a random post here in the middle. And then down the bottom, for the Spur gear cover, the ones that I can touch now have been replaced with. Well, actually, the ones that I actually don't need to touch anymore, I've replaced. The gearbox, I know I have to take off to get some of the components I bought to get on. So those I haven't touched. So when I do remove the gearboxes, I'll definitely get those screws replaced as well. Took apart removed the spare wheel cage holder as well, so I got the screws replacement in there, and I should be able to replace most, if not all, of the hardware with hex. I think some I may not have the right sizes for. The ones that go through the hinge pin, I think that's like I don't have a stainless steel version of that, but yeah, what else? Yeah, see this guy got the screw in there. Yeah, I pretty much had to take this whole thing apart to and kind of rebuild it. So I kind of appreciate that. If this came in as a kit, it would have been better. I actually never really care about it being a kit or not. A lot of people like building stuff. I'm kind of on the fence. But for as much as I've taken apart, it would have been better if I just built this from the ground up. And by the way, I don't think you can buy the kit version in Banggood or at least anywhere from the US. I think the UK might. I think the same buggy is sold under a different brand in UK and Australia. I think those you might be able to get a kit version for it. Yeah, so I pretty much got everything taken off. I'm still waiting for my aluminum Spur gear to cover. I still got to shop for a Pinion, the brass Pinion gear, the stock one. That's probably not gonna last, so I'm gonna look for a Robinson Racing replacement for it. I kind of have to figure out what the gear ratios need to be and I don't want to buy too many of the pinions. I might buy one or two. And I gotta look up about the aluminum spur gear that I bought. I forgot how many teeth comes with it, so I gotta do some calculation and see where I want to go. So I couldn't really mount the motor yet. Gotta get this pinion, waiting for the spur gear to come in, waiting for the steel drive cups to come in. So I'm gonna swap them. These aluminum ones, apparently they don't last too long, so I'm gonna swap them in first. Gotta get the front A-arms in, get the shocks in, and I'm waiting for some metal links, aluminum links, that looks better than the plastic ones, or well, the ones with the plastic ends. So I got some better looking links coming in, and just working on my servo here. I got a TowerPro from Hobby King 946R. I think it's the new model. It seemed to be pretty decent, with decent specs. They were pretty cheap, so I'll give it a try. Got my orange aluminum horn to go with all my orange everything else that I've ordered. I have to shave off a little bit of the servo mount here because of the where the wire is sticking out from the servo. An interesting thing is it was really tough for me to Dremel the little notch there. It's the plastic that they use. I don't know if it's good or bad. It seemed to be very tough. I had a tough time Dremeling, and I really had to press hard, and I really drove my Dremel pretty hot to actually get the shave off some of the plastic. A lot of I've Dremel plenty of the plastic, and none of them have given me this much trouble. So that took me a while to actually get a little notch there. So just FYI, I guess time will only tell whether or not that's good or bad, a good or bad property for plastic here. It may mean that it's just really stiff, really hard. Sometimes it's not good. You might want some flexible and softer plastic which is better for absorbing energy. So I'll see. I'll run this once I'm done with it and see if the plastic will hold up. Like I said, I haven't really ordered too many aluminum components. I think the only key part I order is this little holder right on the side of the gearbox that holds onto the A-arms. I think I got the aluminum version coming in. I think those would break. I've read on the forum. So that's the only structural part that I want to stiffen up. The arms, everything. I'm keeping the stock arms in the rear. Putting in the Helion front A-arms from RPM. And I've read about this as well. As you can see, there's some slop in the rear A-arm here. So I'm gonna try to see if I can shim it. At least put one shim. There's not a lot of room there. It looks like I might try to squeeze one shim in there, see if it helps the slop. It's not that bad. I mean, it is noticeable though. The front, it's about the same. So I don't know, but that's fine for a basher. I don't think it's a big deal. A little bit of slop. And other than that, this everything I've seen so far. It's a great buggy, very decent quality. I'm very surprised. I thought they would have to cheap out on something, but everything seems to be pretty decent. Yeah, except for, I mean, of course, the Phillips hardware, but other than that, even the Phillips screws that they use seems to be pretty decent quality. On the body wise, I kind of de-stickered it. Got to remove some of the adhesive though, leftover adhesive. So got rid of a couple of the stickers on the top, on the side. So it looks pretty decent now. I'll probably do some decorating on this. Bought this guy today from a dollar store. So I'm gonna try to cut the mesh out. Maybe try to put it over the windows, on the side windows, maybe. And gotta figure out how to. May have to glue it on or something like that. So I'll give it a try. See if we'll add that little scale look to it. And I've mentioned before, I've gotten ordered a couple of plastic glass pieces. So maybe I'm trying to make a little windshield here for the buggy up front. So I'll cut it to size and properly glue it to the cage there, and hopefully it'll look decent. So so I have for today. One more note is the receiver box that usually just, I think it comes kind of sitting here like this. I think there is a Helion trucky version that actually is a receiver box that's attached to the servo mounts in one piece to allow for the servo box to sit right on top, the receiver box to sit right on top of the servo saver, so you can actually put the ESC down here instead of having it on the center brace. That's a good idea, actually, clean it up a little bit, but I'm not sure about spending $10 on just that. I might just, what I'm gonna end up doing is probably once I get the servo mounted, I'm just gonna put a little bit of adhesive, a little bit of servo tape, and just tape it on top of the servo. I checked clearance with the cage. It would fit it would just fit. Nothing is interfering, so that's good. So I can kind of mount my ESC down here right next to the motor. Alright, next update, hopefully I'll have a lot more done than just a bare chassis. Thank you.